Have you ever been forced to watch a 90-minute long YouTube video with an insufferable host? I have, and it's called Deadstream. What's going on, everybody? Haunted Beard here. Welcome back to my coverage of Shudder's 61 Days of Halloween. Today I'm talking about their latest release, Deadstream, which tells the story of this disgraced internet personality who, in an attempt to kind of regain his online following, decides to live stream an overnight stay in a haunted house. And it turns out, of course, the house is actually haunted, and he finds himself in a all-out fight for his life. Now, in one major way, Deadstream reminded me quite a bit of another found footage horror film from this year, and that is Dashcam. And that really the make it or break it is going to be how you feel about the main character of the movie. And in this case, it is an online internet personality. The guy's name is Sean. He runs a more or less a YouTube channel where he subjects himself to his main fears. And he's just an online personality and entertainer. And while this guy isn't as bad as the main girl from Dashcam, he's not a whole lot better. His character just really didn't do it for me. About 10 minutes into the movie, I wrote down in my notes that I usually take while I'm watching movies. I was like, this guy is getting annoying. I really hope it doesn't continue like this throughout the rest of the movie. And unfortunately, it does. And it's really just kind of comes down to his personality. I think the performance by the lead actor, like, his performance is fine. Like, I think he performed it the way it was intended. It's just really the character, and his character tries to be funny. And so there's a lot of attempts at humor in this movie to bring some comedy into the horror. And it really just didn't work for me. Just his character and the attempts at comedy are just so corny and cheesy and goofy, and it just doesn't work. And now there's probably going to be, in fact, I'm sure there will be people out there who like this style and enjoy the attempts at humor. And so, you know, if that's you, God bless you. I'm glad that you enjoy it. It just wasn't for me. And obviously, humor is very subjective. It just didn't really connect with me at all. And the thing, too, regarding his character is that he doesn't even feel like a real person. And I guess maybe that's the point, because he's become so, I guess, sort of used to just having this online persona. But everything about him just feels artificial and shallow. And it just doesn't even feel like a real person. It's just everything is just so over the top and just goofy and just artificially produced for the screen. And I guess maybe that's kind of the point, right? Like, that's sort of what they're going for. But still, at the end of the day, it's like, you got to at least give me a character that I enjoy or find interesting, and I just didn't with this guy. Now, I may be a little bit harsher when it comes to horror comedies than the average person, but that subgenre I feel like is more miss than hit with me. And because I just feel like typically the attempts at humor just completely devoid the film of scares and suspense and tension and just that creepiness. And here I feel like it does that quite a bit as well. When anything goes kind of bump in the night, or there's any sound or movement or whatever, this guy, Sean, the main character, his reactions are just so over the top and dramatic. I mean, he feels like a 10-year-old kid. He's just like whining and just like screaming. And it's so over the top and artificial, again, that it just kills it. There's a scene in particular where he finds like a dead like squirrel in the house and just like completely loses it and starts screaming and yelling. And it's like, dude, what did you expect to find? It's a haunted house. And he's freaking out over a dead animal. And some of the dialogue, too, is pretty awful, and a lot of it has to do in the attempts at humor. And like, one of the things it does is he's live streaming this whole thing, and so he doesn't want to get a strike against him, so like he tries to censor himself and not swear. And it's just so corny. One of the attempted jokes, I guess you could call it that, is he gets to a point where he decides to start apologizing for all the controversy and all the things that he's done or said in the past. And so, in being apologetic, he decides to dedicate the rest of his live stream to the blacks and the Mexicans. And it's just like, what is even happening? Like, I understand it's supposed to be a joke, but it's just like what kind of attempt at humor is this? Like, I don't. It just didn't connect. There's another scene too where he's in the car, and again the entity's coming after him or whatever, and he opens up this video on his iPad that one of his viewers sent him of this woman explaining something in the house, and it just does the goofiest thing where he like has to watch it in fast forward, and her voice is all chipmunk like, and then it cuts back to the entity that's like getting closer to the car, and then it cuts back to the woman speaking really fast like a chipmunk, and he's all freaking out, and it's just terrible. I was kind of at this point in the movie, I just like had my hand here, I was just shaking my head. I was just like, what in the world are we doing? And you can definitely tell that the writer and director of this, who is also the main actor, was definitely influenced by Evil Dead, which I am a big fan of and quite enjoy those movies, at least the first two for sure. But so there is a little bit of Evil Dead flavor in this. It's just the comedic aspect. I mean, that's just what it's going to come down to. If you enjoy the comedy and you like the main character, and that's really the make it or break it. And that just didn't work for me. And so the vast majority of this thing just didn't work. I won't spend the entire video just completely trashing on this thing. I will give credit where credit's due. They do stay pretty strict and true to the found footage rules. So I'll give him some kudos there, just in terms of why he's filming and all the different camera angles. They kind of have a cool concept and way to introduce some musical score to the movie, as well as he actually carries around a tape recorder and plays it as he's walking through this, because again, he's trying to enhance the online experience for his viewers. So, you know, I'll give him some props there. And also in terms of the creature design and practical effects and stuff like that, there is some cool stuff there. Also give it some credit too. It did have a couple pretty good jump scares that actually got me. There's just nothing really beyond that in terms of any sort of prolonged suspense or anything like that. And so overall, this was more of a negative experience than a positive one. Like I said, everything really comes down to if you jive with the humor and if you enjoy the main character or not. And really, you're going to know whether or not this is for you in about the first 10, 15 minutes max. And so that's really all I got to say. Hit me up down in the comments, though, if you've seen this, what your thoughts are. Did you think it was funny? Would love to hear from you. Let me know down below. So that is all I got for you today. Up next on Shudder's schedule is Dario Argento's latest film, Dark Glasses. Should be an interesting watch. I am interested and curious about it, so that'll be up next. And that's all I got for you. If you like content like this, hit that subscribe button, because this is what I do on The Haunted Beard. It is all horror and thriller movie content coming at you. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you next time on The Haunted Beard.